Hey guys, Lou here from Jersey Shore Fabricators. Well, little quick tip. I see a lot of people talking about the 4.6, 5.4 Ford motors when it comes to getting a number 4 misfire. And a lot of that has to do with, well, with antifreeze. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So here's number 4. Now on Ford, it's not like Chevy. This is the passenger side rear cylinder. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on the driver's side, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so you can see here on the intake manifold, we've got antifreeze coming out all over the place, and you can even see evidence of it going down the transmission here. If you're getting a bunch of light refractions because of my LED light, I'm sorry about that. I apologize, but I don't have incandescent lights for this. So a lot of times it's going to be one of three things. Either the lower intake manifold here has failed, which any 4.6 owner knows that it happens, or this clamp here is not doing its job properly, or the hose itself has failed. This seems to be on there pretty tight. I'm going to put a regular worm type hose clamp on there, see if that doesn't stop it. But looking at the way everything's coming out, I think our problem is going to be, this looks like it might be shooting out onto here, not so much coming out of here. And just judging by the way everything is kind of trailing down here, we got antifreeze coming all the way out to here, so that tells me that it's under pressure. If it was coming out from here, and I don't see a whole lot of evidence of it underneath the engine cover that goes on here. I'm working on an E150 van. But I figured, for the guys that are asking, I see on a lot of forums what's going on in the back of the motor, and on a truck you can't see it because, well, you got the whole truck there. On the van here, everything in the back is opened up and exposed. Now, one other thing I want to go over is that, doing a tune-up. So the spark plugs on this were shot. Came in with a number 4, number 6 misfire. And sure enough, when I pulled out all the plugs, number 4 and number 6 didn't have the little tiny electrodes on the end. And the gap went to about 65 thousandths. Now, on some other forums, I've seen where people said, you don't have to take off the fuel rail. Well, on a regular truck or a car, that may be the case, but they do things a little differently on the van, I guess because of packaging space. But if we look, right here is the fuel rail, right here is the coil. There is no way that's coming out. So, unfortunately, you got to pull fuel rails. So before you do anything, run out to the store, get yourself a set of O-rings for the, for the injectors. You might as well replace them while you're in there. No point in trying to reuse the old stuff, and most likely they're going to get lost anyway when you pull everything apart. And then the actual procedure that I use after everything is out is that the spark plug goes in first. Okay, so the spark plug's going to go in first. Then the injector is going to go on. Then I'll bolt in the coil. And part of that reason is here on the driver's side. Let's see if I can move this light. Here on the driver's side, let's just turn it into a fail really quick. Here we go. Okay, so you have your fuel injector hole. You have your spark plug hole here. Wow. And then your fuel injector hole right in front of it. So, one's going to get in the way of the other. That's just the way that I do it. Seems to go a lot easier that way. The other thing is that when you put the new O-rings on your fuel injectors, use some grease around them so that when they slide in nice. You don't take a chance on tearing them. And also so that when you put the fuel rail back on top, you don't tear them. And be careful with the fuel rail. It is very sharp metal. Got a couple of battle scars here off of this truck. It's like paper cuts, only worse. And then also on the coils, put dielectric grease. Where's one? put dielectric grease here, and put dielectric grease around the seal here. That way everything slides together. You know, you're going to fight everything taking it apart, so you might as well make it easy on yourself when you're putting it back together. On the passenger side of the motor, what I ended up doing was I took off the mount for the transmission dipstick, got that out of the way, and then this emissions hose here, got that out of the way to pull that fuel rail out of the way. On the driver's side, there's really not a whole lot in the way. Obviously, I took off the air cleaner too, the air cleaner housing. But on the driver's side here, you know, everything's pretty open. You don't have to take off this tube here for the EGR. You know, you can leave that in place. There's plenty of room to swing everything around. And another quick tip, by all means, make sure you are using an actual spark plug socket, because when you put this whole extension in there, this is like a 6-inch extension, this much of it's going to be sticking out. So from here to here. And if you try to use a regular socket, you're just going to drop your spark plug in there, and then you're going to have a whole lot of fun trying to get it out. My stuff's kind of old, so what I've been doing is I'll use the spark plug socket to get it started in there. But what happens is that when I go to pull it out, is that the extension comes off. So I'll start it with that, you know, with it in the rubber, just enough to get it started. Then I'll switch over to a regular socket and finish it up. You could try greasing up the inside of the rubber boot that's inside. Sometimes that'll work. Like I said, my stuff's old, and I don't even know if that's the original rubber boot. I've had that spark plug socket for 20 years. So, alright, so that's my 5.4 quick tip for this week. Enjoy, guys. Peace.